Hello and welcome to Truckers World for another video. Hope you're all doing well out there. Not doing too bad myself. As you can see, I'm in the wagon. Nice sunny afternoon. A little bit warm out there, but it's okay. So today is our last day, day number 5 of the Class 1 training saga. So it's the final one. And it was actually this time last week, well, before this time, but a week ago I did my test. And it's test day today, and I'm going to explain what I did on my test day. So he told me to meet test station at about 9:15, and we'd have maybe an hour and a half drive. My test, I think, was 10:40 in the morning. Sorry, yeah, so it was 10:40 in the morning. I think my test was. And to be honest, on my class 2, I was given quite a long drive before my test. I arrived at 8, and I think my test was something like 11. I can't exactly remember, but anyway, an hour and a half is adequate enough. More than that, I think you're testing your kind of concentration. You really got to be on it on that an hour and a half, really. So I got there and had my test drive for an hour and a half before. Guy came in before me. I was waiting for my trainer. Anyway, the lorry was dropped off. I thought it was dropped off by somebody who works there. It was actually somebody on the test. So I had to wait for him to come out. I waited a little bit behind, and then my trainer came to me and said, right, we're next up. The guy who came out of the lorry to do it after he did his test, I could tell by the face. I didn't know, and my trainer didn't say anything, but I could tell that it wasn't great news. So that kind of, was a little bit worrying, if I'm honest. And I was a little bit worried on my test, before my test, sorry. There was still a couple of corners which I thought, am I going to remember how to do them? Am I going to, not be hit by any unforeseen circumstances? You were still worrying a lot, to be honest. On my drive then, my pre-test drive, went round again, hit some of the harder corners. He put me through paces, but also didn't overwork me, which I thought was a really, really good thing. But one unexpected event did happen. When we were driving round one of the roads, 2 dogs had got hold of a deer. Now, to cut a long story short, it was quite violent to see, and I got out of my wagon and actually helped to get the dogs off, and it lasted maybe about no more than 15 minutes, to be fair. It wasn't a nice thing, but it's that kind of thing that can actually potentially put you off. And for a little bit short time after that, maybe 20 minutes, I was a little bit affected by that. It was on my mind. It wasn't nice to see. But I moved on my test. But it's that kind of thing that, unforeseen circumstances. Hey, this is what happens. So we did the warm up. We came into then the test station, and he made me reverse. He helped me with this, reverse like into a bay. Nice and easy. It wasn't too hard. And we waited here. Then he explained to me, right, the examiner will come out, and he'll come into the wagon, and you'll do show me tell. And then what you do, you drive forwards, and you go through like a little through some cones. It's nothing to worry about. Bags of room. I don't know why they do this. I thought they just line you up and away you go, but who knows? So you go through a little bit to the left, then do like a U-turn, and then back on yourself, and that's it. It's easy peasy. But again, he explains this to me, and I like the idea of the fact that we started actually from the test centre going out, and he also brought me back into the test station again. So it prepares you a little bit. On my class 2, didn't get that. Not specifically anyway. I think I went from reverse there, but nothing specific. So I thought that was a good thing as well. So my examiner comes in, fairly old bloke, maybe in his 50s, and I was pleasantly surprised, if I'm honest. He's a very calm talking man, very calm, and my trainer said that this guy's quite a stickler for the trailer swing, so I'll always be looking out for that trailer swing. Again, great that, isn't it? Really good to have that little inside information. Anyway, he was a very nice man, actually, and compared to my last examiner, my class 2, who was quite abrupt and just very short and almost spoke to me like a prison convict, and I'm not exaggerating there, he really did. This guy was a lot calmer, and I totally agree with that, because just coming off the story a little bit, I know examiners can't be your best friend, but they can at least speak to you like a new human being. They can calm your nerves down, just explain the situation and still do their job. And he did that. He was extremely calm, very soft-spoken, made a bit of small chat and, right, just go with it. He still had to do his job, and I still had to be on form. So we went on the test route. Some of the corners, 1 or 2 corners I did do on my test route, and I remembered how to do them, and I did them successfully. Traffic wasn't too bad either at that time when I did my test, 10:40. And then we did a little bit of, I think it's, I forget what the word is now, where you're driving, he gives you a set of instructions and you've got to follow the road. And again, fair play here, because on the first set of instructions he said, right, follow the signs for so-and-so, and he explained to me that this sign here, I'm going to tell you where to turn because the bushes are blocking the sign. That, that is fair play, absolutely. And he said it in a very calm manner. All the time, the first, I would say, half an hour, I was on it. And I felt reasonably confident, but you just never felt like totally at ease. You always felt like you had to make sure. You couldn't just fall asleep. You couldn't just think, oh, he's making a bit of small talk. He's nice, this guy. Don't ever think that way. I think he just says that kind of thing to help calm you down, and it does work. So, having done that, it was going okay. And then we kind of went on a different route. I'd done this route before. It wasn't anything difficult. And I knew that I was quite lucky because I knew the area because I'd worked actually around the area. So, yeah, that was a little bit lucky. Never actually been on that route before, but I kind of knew a little bit some of the area where we were. So that helps a little bit. I think about maybe 15 minutes to go, give or take. I did feel then that I was getting a little bit tired, and sometimes your concentration was a little bit lacking. But other than that, it went okay. I was quite happy, to be fair. And then once you were almost there at the test station, you can almost think, oh, yeah, I'm near the test station now. That's when you kind of like build up a bit of excitement because you think, yeah, it's over now. They'll all tell you, though, don't ever, let your foot off the gas. You've got to keep concentrating all the way to the very end. And I did do that, but when I knew that I was heading in kind of to the test station, that's when I felt a lot of relief, a lot of tension beforehand, obviously, but I felt a lot of relief. Going to the test station, again, you follow the station, you go in, you go past the zone, do a U-turn, and then you stop, and that's what I did. And he paused for a minute. He talked when we went into the test station and went round those codes, did the U-turn. He started making quite a lot of small talk, and I thought, all right, this must be quite good now. He's surely not going to give me bad news after all this small talk, because he was making decent small talk at that point. But then he stopped and he hesitated. He said, right, would you like your trainer to listen in on the feedback of the advice? And I said, yeah, okay. And at that point I thought, oh, might not be good news, this. Why has he not simply told me I've passed? My trainer come in, opened the door, and then he delivered, of course, the good news. I'm pleased to tell you you've passed. And obviously those lovely words, everybody loves to hear. It doesn't matter whether you're riding a bike, driving a car, whatever. And it was nice to hear. I got one minor, and that was, I think, near the end. Pulled over, side of the road, stopped, and then I think I was just going to go, and then a car just came past. I did stop in time, obviously, but I think I just got a minor for that, if I'm honest. It was a good drive. I got lots of compliments, and it was a nice thing. And yeah, overall, the experience was tough. It was stressful. Obviously, when you pass, it's a great relief. I have failed before, so I do know what it's like to fail, and I can tell you now, it's not very nice. But there it is. That's what I did on my test date. I was very relieved, and I'm very happy as well. But bear in mind, guys, obviously, I am a Class C driver. It does help if you are going car to Class C and E. My trainer, they really don't approve of it, to be honest. They always think that you should go for Class 2 and then go for Class C and E. And I get why people want to go straight there, but it must be quite difficult. So there you have it. So I hope these videos have helped give you an idea of obviously the training and also obviously the test. All the details are going to be included. I will do a video coming up on some tips that I've learned on how to pass your test. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to make you pass. You're going to have to do it yourself. But little bits and bobs which he told me, he learnt me, I will pass on. Because I think, like I said, the company I used were fantastic. My trainer was fantastic. I'm not just saying that because I passed. Don't get me wrong, it's a little bit easy for me, but it just felt like he knew what he was doing. He was up to date. I think my Class 2 trainer was a little bit out of date, if you know what I mean by that. But he was up to date on things that he knew was going to happen. And also as well, what he did as well, and I think other people do this, I never knew this, but when I was on my test, he followed me in the car. I didn't know this, but this is how they obviously know the test routes. They follow you in the car, but not everybody does. My class 2 man, my trainer, he didn't. So, you know, again, that's a good thing for those people who wanted to obviously go and train, because he can take you on, you know, fairly accurate test routes. But yeah, he was spot on, built me up nicely from the start, tested me, you know, obviously pushed me as well, delivered all the perfect advice and the tips that, you know, that you need. One big tip as well, I will repeat this, you know, on the class 2 I was always told to put it in neutral and then handbrake on. You don't need to. He said you can sleep in the drive, that's fine. And again, I didn't know that. So all this extra stuff he knew, got to give him top marks for that. So look out for that video for the tips. That'll be coming on soon. Thank you for watching. If you do have any questions, by all means, post and I'll see what I can do. Okay? Thanks for watching.